The ring they sold behind my back. I woke up in a hospital bed with stitches in my stomach, and the first thing my sister said to me was, "You should be happy for me." She was holding up her phone showing me a video with 500,000 views. A video where she cried on camera about finally healing generational trauma by selling our late father's watch. My watch. The one he left me. I hadn't given her permission. I hadn't even told her I was in the hospital. But somehow, she already had a plan for what she'd say when I found out. My name is Rachel Doyle, I'm 29, and this is the story of how my own sister turned my worst week into her best content, and how I made sure the whole family watched her lose everything for it. Let me back up. I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the older of 2 daughters. My sister, Brooke, is 26. Growing up, Brooke was the golden child. Dance recitals, honor roll, the kind of daughter my mother could show off at church. I was the quiet one. I became a dental hygienist. I liked routines. I liked being useful without being loud about it. Our father, Daniel Doyle, was a mechanic who fixed up old cars in the garage on weekends. He wasn't rich, but he had one prized possession, a gold pocket watch that belonged to his own father, a coal miner from West Virginia. It didn't even run anymore, but engraved on the inside cover were 3 words. Time is love. My dad used to say that watch had survived 2 house fires and a divorce, and it would survive us too. When he died of a heart attack 2 years ago, he left a short handwritten note taped inside his toolbox. It said, "The watch goes to Rachel because she was the one who used to sit with him in the garage for hours just to keep him company." Brooke got his truck. That was the agreement. Everyone in the family knew it. Everyone except, apparently, Brooke's audience of 400,000 followers. Brooke had built a whole online persona around being a healing journey influencer, sharing vulnerable stories about grief, boundaries, and family trauma. It got her brand deals, free trips, sponsorships from candle companies and supplement brands. My mother thought it was wonderful. I thought it was exhausting to watch, but I never said much. I kept the peace. That's what I always did. 3 months ago, I found out I was pregnant. It was unexpected, but Marcus, my boyfriend of 4 years, and I were thrilled. We told exactly one person, his mother, because we wanted to wait until 12 weeks. 2 days later, my mother somehow already knew, because Marcus's mom mentioned it to a neighbour who goes to the same nail salon as my mother's best friend. Small towns. That same night, my mother texted Brooke. I didn't see that text until much later, but when I did, it changed how I understood everything that came next. Rachel's having a baby. Maybe now's the time to finally deal with the watch situation before she gets too attached to keeping it in the family the wrong way. I still don't fully know what the wrong way meant. I think it meant before Rachel has a reason to actually treasure it. 9 days later, I was in the ER with sharp abdominal pain. It turned out to be an ectopic pregnancy. I went into emergency surgery. I lost the baby, and I nearly lost a lot more. My blood pressure dropped so low, the surgeon later told Marcus it was closer than we'd like. I woke up groggy, stitched and hooked to monitors. My mother visited for exactly 6 minutes. She didn't ask about the surgery. She asked if I still had the key to my apartment handy because Brooke wanted to check on things while I recovered. I didn't think anything of it. I was too tired to think of anything. 3 days later, Marcus went to grab me a change of clothes. He called me from my apartment, his voice tight. "Rachel," he said, "the toolbox is open. The watch is gone." I didn't say anything for a long moment. Then I asked the only question that mattered. Did they break in, or did someone let themselves in? He was quiet. We both already knew the answer. That night, my mother texted me. Brooke needed startup funds for her new wellness line. We agreed as a family this was the best use of Dad's watch. He would understand, sweetheart. Rest up. We agreed as a family. I had been unconscious in an operating room while that decision was apparently made. 2 days after that, Brooke posted a video titled, "The hardest, most healing decision I've ever made." In it, she held up my father's watch, tearful, talking about how she was releasing generational attachment to material things to fund her new supplement brand, Rooted Renewal. She said selling it felt like setting her father's spirit free. The comments were full of hearts and prayer hands, 40,000 likes in a day. I was still in a hospital gown when I saw it. I want you to sit with that for a second because I did. I sat with it for 3 straight days, staring at the ceiling, feeling something colder than anger. It wasn't rage, it was clarity. My mother had a habit, she called it family fairness, where anything I had that Brooke wanted eventually became a shared resource. My car in college became the family car the summer Brooke needed one. My wedding fund from working 2 jobs in my 20s became my parents' roof repair money, because family helps family. I let it happen every time. I told myself that's what good daughters do, not this time. Here's the thing nobody in my family knew. The pocket watch had a serial number engraved under the hinge, something my grandfather had done decades ago to identify it after it was stolen once from a coal camp store. My father used to joke that watch had papers like a racehorse. I remembered that joke while I was lying in that hospital bed, and something in me sat up straight for the first time in days. I called a small estate jewellery shop downtown, the kind of place that buys and appraises heirlooms, because if Brooke needed quick cash, that's exactly where she'd go. On my second call, a man named Walter Higgins answered. He said, "Actually, funny you ask. A young woman came in 3 days ago selling a gold pocket watch, distinctive engraving. I catalogue everything with photos for insurance records. Want me to send you a picture?" My hands were shaking when the photo came through. It was my father's watch, serial number and all. Walter told me Brooke had asked for $4,000. He'd offered her $6,500 because the piece was rarer than she seemed to realise. She took the lower offer in cash, no paperwork, because she said she needed it that day. I didn't cry. I smiled at the ceiling for the first time in a week. I asked Walter one question. "Has anyone bought it yet?" He said no. It was sitting in his display case. I told him I'd be there as soon as I was discharged, and I asked him not to sell it to anyone else. He agreed, mostly because once I explained the situation, he seemed genuinely disturbed that someone had sold a family heirloom that wasn't legally theirs to sell, especially one with a paper trail proving whose name was written inside my father's own note. I was discharged 5 days later. Before I even went home, Marcus drove me straight to the shop. Walter had the watch waiting in a velvet box. He'd read the engraving out loud when I walked in. "Time is love," and said quietly, "Your father sounds like he was a good man." I paid the shop back the $6,500 out of my own savings, because I refused to let this become a police matter that would drag my grieving father's name through a courtroom. I wanted something else. Something my mother, with her endless talk of family, could not talk her way around. That night, I called my Aunt Denise, my father's younger sister, who had never trusted Brooke's online persona and had quietly kept receipts. Literally. She'd been screenshotting Brooke's videos for 2 years because something about them always felt performative to her. She had saved the original sale confirmation Brooke had posted in a since-deleted Instagram story bragging about closing the deal, time-stamped the same day as the video, contradicting the caption that claimed she'd sat with the decision for weeks. Denise also had something else. 6 months earlier, my mother had let it slip at Thanksgiving, half joking that Brooke's supplement company was already 3 months behind on paying back a private loan Brooke had taken from a family friend. A loan she told everyone was for inventory, but according to Denise's cousin, who worked at the same bank, had actually gone toward a European trip Brooke filmed for content. I didn't say a word to my mother or Brooke. I let the baby shower, the Rooted Renewal brand launch party, stay exactly where my mother had already planned it. Her backyard, 2 weeks later, 30 guests, a banner that said, "Healing starts here." I showed up. Alone, at first. Marcus waited 2 blocks away in the car. Brooke was glowing, greeting guests, handing out little gift bags with her supplements. My mother was refilling lemonade, telling everyone how proud she was of both her girls, as if she hadn't spent the last month pretending my miscarriage was a footnote. When Brooke stood up to give her toast, thanking her village for supporting her healing journey, I walked to the front of the yard and asked if I could add something. My mother's smile flickered. "Rachel, sweetheart, now isn't..." "It's fine," I said. "I'll be quick." I held up the velvet box. I opened it. The watch caught the sunlight. Brooke went pale. "This is Dad's watch," I said. "The one you told 400,000 people you sold to set his spirit free. What you didn't tell them is that you sold
it while I was in emergency surgery. From the apartment you let yourself into with a key you asked for while I was unconscious. You told the shop owner you needed cash that day, the same day I lost my baby." Someone near the drink table gasped. My mother said my name sharply. I kept going. I bought it back. Full price, plus what the shop lost by holding it for me instead of selling it to a customer who wanted it immediately. I have the receipts. I have the timestamps. And Aunt Denise has your Instagram story where you bragged about how easy the sale was. The same day your caption claimed you agonized over it for weeks. Brooke's mouth opened. But nothing came out. I turned to my mother. "You texted Brooke to deal with the watch situation the same day you found out I was pregnant." 9 days later, I lost that baby, and while I was still bleeding in a hospital bed, you called it a family decision. I wasn't part of that family. I was just the source. My mother's face crumpled, not with guilt, I think, but with the horror of being seen by 30 guests holding little gift bags. Then, Denise, standing near the fence, said quietly but clearly, "I have the screenshots. If anyone wants to see them." Nobody wanted lemonade after that. Brooke's brand didn't survive the fallout. Within a week, screenshots of the party filmed by more than one guest. Because apparently everyone films. Everything now were circulating with captions like "Influencer sells dead fathers," "Heirloom during sister's miscarriage." Of her sponsors, dropped her within 48 hours. Rooted Renewal's Instagram went private, then quiet, then gone. My mother called me every day for 2 weeks. I let most of them go to voicemail. Eventually, I answered one. She didn't apologize. Not really. She said, "I didn't know how bad it was for you." Which isn't the same thing as "I'm sorry for what I did." I told her I needed time. She's called every Sunday since. Sometimes I pick up. Sometimes I don't. I'm not in a hurry to decide what our relationship looks like now. Brooke sent one text. Weeks later, "I didn't think about what it would cost you. I'm sorry. I know that's not enough." I haven't replied yet. Maybe I will someday. Not yet. Marcus and I are trying again when we're ready. No timeline. No pressure. The watch sits on my nightstand now, in its velvet box, not running, just like it never did. Every night before bed, I open it and read the inscription. Time is love. My father was right about a lot of things. He was right that this watch would survive fires and divorces in decades. He just never imagined it would have to survive his own family too. If anyone ever tells you that keeping the peace means staying silent while people take what's yours, don't listen. Some things are worth interrupting a toast for.